All right. Shalom, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Wanted to do a video talking about some of the stuff that I've talked about previously, but it just really needs to be understood of the mentality of people when it comes to work and a job. Now, I'll start off with my experience. I've worked over 12 years implementing HRS systems in the corporate environment. That means that I understand payroll systems, I understand time management systems, I understand benefit systems. And I've worked very closely with directors of human resources. That's the people that set policy within a company as directed by the CEO of that company. I must have implemented hundreds of systems and sat down with dozens upon dozens of directors of human resources as well as CEOs of corporations. And one of the many things that they paid me for was the ability, and I used to bill out for about $395 an hour. So if you wanted me to come to your location, the corporation that I was working for, to listen to me, give you sound advice on your corporation's HRS system and how you were functioning in an HR human resource perspective in terms of all those systems. I was the individual that came and spent time with the HR generalists, the payroll specialists, through a series of Q&As, and then sitting down and telling them, well, based on this is how your system is working, this is how you can improve. And also, I was a certified project manager, meaning I had a PMP, and I also had a Six Sigma certification in Greenbelt. Now, if you can look up these certifications, but I was highly educated in these areas, and I performed those duties for corporate America. So I understand human resources. I understand time management. I understand economics within an organization. And one of the things that I always used to find out and discover was employees that no matter where you go, you'll find that employees were never satisfied with their salary. And one of the experiences I had is I went to a conference, and the average person in the conference, because these corporations that sometimes these are sent on you on weekend trips. We went to, like the last trip that I went on was Boca Raton, Florida. We stayed in a nice hotel, golf course, eating, fancy restaurants and everything. And but the people, average salary was $75,000, but people were complaining about their salaries. And the CEO got wind of this and got up one day in a conference and said, listen here, the average person is making about $75,000. The majority of you work from home. The majority of you, we pay your cell phone expenses, your internet expenses, all of these expenses we used to bill to the company, in addition to be able to work from home, which I spent the majority of my time either working from home or in the actual offices of the clients that I was assigned to. And she used to say, she got up and she said, listen here, if you don't like it, leave. And she was right. She was right. Because you had a whole bunch of people complaining. And the problem with a job is this. It's very simple. This guy, Odisha Duke Jackson, did a video on this. Is that you will never, ever feel as though you're getting paid what you are worth. So if somebody's giving you, and I've experienced this myself. I've seen this myself. You would have a person, if you're making $12 an hour, you're going to feel as though you should be making $15 an hour. If you feel as though if you were making $75,000 a year, well, why can't I make $80,000 a year? Why can't they pay me an extra $5,000, an extra $8,000, extra $10,000? The human spirit is insatiable that way because you're never going to be satisfied with somebody else is just going to give you. You see? You're never going to be satisfied with that. And this is why I like this guy Fabian for Liberty. He doesn't do YouTube videos anymore, but he does have good archives. Hopefully, he's okay. But the number one problem is that, again, you're never going to get paid what you feel as though you're worth at a job. I hear it all the time. And at the end of the day, if you don't like it, leave. And you know what the solution is? You know what the solution is? Entrepreneurship. Start your own business. And the reason why a lot of people don't do that is because it's easy to just be given something. Or through the welfare state or exploiting others, it's easy to live off somebody else's labor or live off somebody else's back. It's easy just to show up every Friday or every other week and collect a paycheck, right? Because, it's kind of guaranteed that it's going to be there. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's not even guaranteed. And so what you find a lot of times is that people will complain about their salaries or whatever, but they're not willing to go out into the free market and start a business or do something like that. This is why, I've been advocating and I've been talking about for years, starting your own business, being self-sufficient, because the way you deal with that is that if I'm in charge of my own income, then I have to go out there and I have to go out into the free market and I have to market a product or a service that people want. I have to build relationships with clients and I have to maintain those relationships. And that requires probably more work than it is just showing up at a 9-to-5 job. See, this is why I really respect people that's built businesses. And then what you find a lot, especially, with these movements out here, Farrakhan, you know what I'm saying? The big ones, Farrakhan, the NAACP or whatever, or these people, they harp about all of this stuff, but they've never built a business to leave behind, or they've never built businesses or living on land or anything like that is make them self-sufficient from the world. They're still pretty much dependent on the world. They're dependent on their pension systems. They're dependent on their jobs. They're dependent on all of these things from the world. And so therefore, it's just all the same kind of deal. We need to develop businesses. We need to do business. We need to function with a business mind, because when you do that, and if everybody's doing that in a collective situation, then everybody's eating, everybody's prospering, not only just at the few at the top. So that's the key. That's the solution to a job, because, again, I'll say it again, you will never be paid what you really think that you are worth. And that's the solution. That is definitely solution. And, anybody that knows and watch my YouTube channel, that I'm not just out here talking about it. I'm doing it. And you can see by the manner of my life what I'm doing. Not with just I'm just running my mouth. So, that's the name of the game. Entrepreneurship, building businesses, becoming self-sustainable. And that's the name of the game. That's the truth about it. That's the solution right there. And we have to not only be hearers but doers, because a lot of people, all these organizations, if you look at their track record in history, they've not built not one business. Not one. Not one. But they get up here and they claim XYZ 1, 2, 3. Look at what they're doing, or look at what they haven't done, and it'll tell you exactly what you need to know. And another thing I wanted to state was, a pyramid structure, the pyramid structure, it's an Egyptian pyramid structure. It's a pagan structure. It's something to think about, right? The pyramid structure, it's a pyramid. It's an Egyptian pagan structure that the world and the Illuminati or whatever use as their god. Something to think about. Somebody said that to me, and it's like, yeah, you are right. It's not a biblical structure. But yeah. All right. Well, I hope I was able to say something to clarify. Be a doer. Build a business. And there you will have your freedom. Shalom.